Have you ever considered that you're not getting the whole story? This is Dr. Truth.
And this is Dr. Drake. Tune in to the radio show Earth, Saturday nights, 10 to midnight.
We'll be exposing what the elites are doing all over the world.
We don't want you to believe us. Get a pen out and check us out.
It's the radio show accused of telling the truth. Earth.
The most controversial planet in the solar system. Saturday nights, 10 to midnight, Eastern Time, on the Hazy Radio Network.
From NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. Nebraska Senator Mike Johans made it official today, the Republican lawmaker announcing he will not seek re-election in 2014. Robin Tisver is chief political reporter with the Omaha World-Herald and says the announcement came as a surprise to many.
In fact, he said this summer that he planned to seek re-election. So everyone was operating under the assumption that he was going to run.
62-year-old Johans said he wants to spend more time with his family after 32 years in public service. The one-time Republican senator's extensive political career has also included a stint as governor of the state and as an agriculture secretary to George W. Bush, rejecting the notion he's leaving office because of heightened partisanship within the Senate. President Obama took time off to play golf with an outgoing and current White House staffer on the third day of his Florida vacation. Mr. Obama played today with departing U.S. Trade Representative Ron Kirk, along with White House aide Marvin Nicholson and Chicago friend Eric Whitaker. Forced him a bit more low-key than the group the president played with over the weekend, which included professional golfer Tiger Woods. The president's returning to Washington this evening. Coast Guard says a fuel leak is to blame for stranding a cruise ship for days in the Gulf of Mexico. Eileen Fleming of member station WWNO says the Bahamas will lead the investigation because it's where the vessel's registered.
The Coast Guard says the crew of the Carnival Triumph did a good job in responding to the fire. The leak occurred in a line that stretched from an engine to a fuel tank. The fire disabled the ship for days, leaving more than 4,200 people on board to cope with overflowing toilets and with little food. Many slept on deck to escape the stench. The Coast Guard and the National Transportation Safety Board will be checking what triggered the fire and why the ship was disabled for so long. The investigation, led by the Bahamas, could take 6 months. For NPR News, I'm Eileen Fleming.
Foreign governments are picking up the tab as members of Congress and staffers travel to countries around the world. NPR's Jim Howard reports the Washington Post looked at lawmakers' disclosures to examine the practice.
In a copyrighted story, the Washington Post is reporting that congressional staffers took more than 800 trips paid for by foreign governments in the 6 years ending in 2011. A growing number of lawmakers are also taking advantage of the foreign generosity, taking 21 such trips in the same time period. China is the biggest sponsor, paying for more than 200 trips. Staffers visiting Jordan stayed at the Four Seasons in Amman and met with the king. In Switzerland, staffers took a helicopter ride through the Alps. The actual number of such foreign government-paid trips could be much higher, as only members of Congress and senior staff are required to disclose their travel. Jim Howard, NPR News, Washington.
U.S. financial markets are closed for the President's Day holiday, though analysts will have plenty of earnings numbers to mull over when the market reopens tomorrow. In Europe, the three main stock market indices were mixed as investors watched a decline in the value of the Japanese yen. You're listening to NPR. Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez has returned home from Cuba more than 2 months after undergoing cancer surgery. 58-year-old socialist leader's homecoming implied perhaps some improvement in his condition, despite the fact there's been no new information concerning the state of his health. Chavez arrived in the Venezuelan capital in the middle of the night. In a Twitter message, the ailing leader said he will continue treatment. Chavez has urged voters to back a possible transition to current Vice President Nicolas Maduro, should he have to stand down and a new presidential election be held. Twitter and Instagram are more popular among African Americans than among white and Latino users. That's according to a new study by the Pew Research Center, as NPR's Hansi Lo Wong reports.
Lee Rainey works for the Pew Research Center in Washington, D.C., and he says now that Internet users have a menu of social media services to choose from, certain platforms tend to attract specific tribes of people. Take Twitter, for example.
African Americans way outperform whites and Latinos in that space.
Black Internet users are also more likely to take and share photos on their smartphones using Instagram. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders were not included in the study, Rainey says, because there weren't enough responses to the National Phone Survey. The study also did not include racial demographics of the most widely used social media site, Facebook. But the report did find that of the 4 social media services surveyed, Pinterest was the whitest platform, popular with 18% of white non-Hispanic users. Hanzila Wong, NPR News.
Crude oil prices slipped slightly. The price of benchmark crude down 17 cents a barrel today to end the session at $95.69 a barrel in electronic trading. I'm Jack Spear, NPR News in Washington.
Are you looking for something new? Find it at Club Onyx every Thursday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. 2 whole hours of dance music hosted by DJ 3. Right here on the Hazy Radio Network. See you there.
Whatever your worldview is, there's always the broader view with Hazy and Belle Salisbury. Let's get back to the show.
And we are back. You're listening to The Broader View on the Hazy Radio Network. I am your host, Hazy. And with me is my co-host, once again, Belle Salisbury. And with Belle is our special guest. Belle, do you want to do an intro for me?
Yes. Joining us in the studio is Corby Mitleid. Wonderful individual, and I like to call her a personal friend because I have met her in person and we did a lot of psychic fairs together. Corby is a certified psychic, a certified tarot card reader, and a past life reader, not to mention a Bella Spree columnist. She does the Wayback Machine, which allows individuals to write in with questions regarding what is a past life for them. So please welcome Corby Mitleid.
Belle, it's great to be here.
We are so excited. I just love you to death. Every time I just want to hug her. We used to do psychic fairs together back in the day when I was in New York, and I missed those days. But you stay busy as ever, traveling all over the place.
Absolutely crazy. I'm looking at my calendar this year, and I've got 27 shows, half a dozen private parties, 5 one-woman workshops, and a big corporate event in March. I've been invited by Nickelodeon to come down to New York City and entertain some of their clients.
Oh, wow.
Whoa, baby.
Fun.
Yeah, that's big. That's big. And,
Holy cow.
Of course, there's the webinars and the voiceovers and I basically have to schedule time to do my laundry and pet the cat. Nuts.
Phenomenal. I mean, talk about everything in a partridge in a pear tree.
Yes, ma'am. You got that right.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
Say it again. I stepped on you.
That's okay. You can step on me anytime you want. How long have you been doing this?
Full-time since just after 9/11. But I've been reading since I was 18, and I'm going to be 58 in a couple of weeks. So a while. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I did it just for friends for about 20 years. Then in 1994, I found out I could do hands-on healing and talk to dead people with no training. And that's when I kind of figured I had been handed my draft notice, so I started, doing it evenings and weekends, but more concentrated and putting it out to the public. And on 9/11, as we watched the towers burn, I turned to my husband, Carl. I said, I need to do this stuff full-time. People will need to know there is another answer out there. There is something different. This is not the reality and all there is. So for about a year, I did what I call dual duty, which is I still worked as an executive recruiter for engineering and manufacturing during the week, and I would do as many shows and private parties as I could find until I was sure that I could really make a go of this. And then the following year, I kind of walked in, peed on the boss's desk, and left. And I have not looked back.
I want to do that one of these days.
It was a true delight, trust me.
Oh, and that's a tough decision to make, isn't it, Corby? I mean, to go out there with that
I
type of
made
faith.
good money. I made good money, but the thing is, it was a very, very difficult thing. When you're an executive recruiter, you're fudging facts to the company, the client, your boss.
Yeah.
And there I was, evenings and weekends, doing a second career that absolutely requires you to be truthful and authentic and to totally respect the person that you're reading for. Now, you cannot possibly combine those two because they're the opposite ends of the spectrum. So as soon as I knew I could leave behind the world of duality, if you will, and go into the world of inspiration and empowerment, I said, I am so there. You couldn't even see my vapor trail. I went so fast.
And I have to say, folks, I know firsthand how Corby truly lives this lifestyle. She is truth. She is honest. She tells it like it is, with a little humor stirred in.
Yeah, I will whap you upside the head with a clue brick, but you'll giggle while I'm doing it. That's the best way to put it.
I like that. I like that definition.
And did you walk away looking forward to the trip? I mean, it's but you don't want a psychic that's going to blow smoke,
right?
No. One of the best things that someone wrote for me in a testimonial was that it wasn't inconsequential and fluff. And she wasn't told what to do, but she was shown her options and encouraged to choose the most empowering one. And that is exactly what the best of us do. You don't need us to tell you that you're going to meet a guy with blue eyes and a limp at a bar. That is not going to change your life, the bachelor, the bachelorette notwithstanding.
Right.
You need to learn how to see your options, make the best free will choice, see challenges as opportunities, not, whaps on the nose with a newspaper from Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're in charge of your own life, because I'll tell you, if you have to choose between being a victim and a volunteer, be a volunteer.